Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. This is a busy week. I delayed the recording for this because of all the new information coming out. On September 10th, Charlie Kirk, who is one of the co-founders of Turning Point USA, a large right-wing political organization who was instrumental in getting Donald Trump reelected, and was even instrumental in getting him elected the first time around. He was attending a kind of event, I guess, where he was taking questions from the audience and debating them. It was at a Utah university. And after answering one of the questions about gun deaths, somebody shot him in the neck one time. Some of the details are still coming out. If you watch, and I don't recommend you do this, if you watch the up close front row video, it was pretty obvious right from the jump that he was dead. Before they even confirmed it, I mean, it was obvious that he was dead. He gets shot right in the jugular, and immediately, like an explosion of blood pours out of his neck, all over his shirt, and he stiffs up with the microphone in one hand and nothing in his other hand. I think it's in this hand, the microphone is. And he stiffs up like this, slumps over to the left, and then just slumps completely over. And drops the microphone in the process. A little later, Trump, of all people, broke the news that he was confirmed dead. But like I said, you'd have to be a real blind moron to not be able to tell that he was dead based on that video. And this whole situation has really blown up. There's a lot of people talking about this that I didn't expect to see talking about it. I am going to refrain from my thoughts personally. All I can say is I do indeed feel pretty bad for his kids. That his 4-year-old and 1-year-old will have to grow up without a father. That is very upsetting. You know, I've seen a few videos of him with his kids, and it is sad. It is upsetting to see that those kids will grow up without a father. To keep it brief, yeah, I do feel bad for his children. Charlie Kirk is definitely somebody who has ran on a platform of saying stuff like he doesn't believe empathy is real, or saying stuff like this.
Now, we must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price. Wow. And that is part of liberty. Wow. Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. Wow. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less.
Now, obviously, driving versus owning a firearm is a way different. We're comparing apples to oranges here. Driving is kind of a necessity in this country. You need a car to be able to get places in a country like America. Meanwhile, I don't need a firearm to go to the grocery store, to go to work. I don't own a firearm that I carry on me personally, so I don't really see the need for something like that. Why is Arrest Harry Sassan being called on to be arrested? Wow, that's stupid. They're saying he should be arrested because because Harry Sassan said Charlie Kirk is a sick, racist piece of trash. Just put the Klan hood on already, Charlie. He said that so long ago. Dude, I knew this was going to happen. This is what's happening now. Now that one of the most prominent right-wing figures has been arrested, or not arrested, has been assassinated, the right is taking this assassination and immediately weaponizing it as an excuse to maim, kill, or arrest left-wing people who disagree with Charlie Kirk's ideologies. That is what's happening now. I don't see... this is the thing. I feel like I've been gaslit into not speaking my mind on something like this. But, you know, do I think Charlie Kirk should have been necessarily assassinated? No. I definitely wouldn't personally do it. But do I see a little bit of irony in the way that he was killed, in the circumstances surrounding how he was killed, in what ideology led to someone like him being killed? Yes, I do see the irony in that. That doesn't mean I think it's okay. And, you know, people saying that this justifies people going out and killing left-wingers or arresting left-wingers for their dissenting opinions is insane. Trump basically said something like that in his addressing the nation speech. I actually do have some news about the shooter, though. This is why it's good that I waited till today. FBI Director Kash Patel gave a statement on this whole thing. They arrested somebody at the event. The subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. Then he says, just a little while later, the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency. Then there's this footage.
Far right corner
of... So, Charlie Kirk was shot by somebody who was on... Why can't I pause this? He was shot by somebody who was on top of a roof.
He's come out on the right, moves to this far.
And there's this footage of a guy on that roof jumping off the roof of the building. Oh, God, dude. There's other pieces of footage, too, where he's supposedly walking through a neighborhood and is, like, limping. I don't have that footage, apparently. But the person they arrested as the alleged shooter is a guy named Tyler Robinson. He's a 22-year-old who was turned into the authorities by his father. Do we have photos of the security cam? Nope, we don't. Oh, I guess here's an old photo of him in a Halloween costume. Dude. Okay, wow, nobody in the replies is useful. Anyway, this is the person that they arrested for it. 22-year-old, folks. Apparently they found, let's see. I saw reports that they found Discord messages of his talking about the shooting. Happy 16th birthday to, oh, shoot. Huh. Happy 16th birthday to my, son Austin. He's a leather. Wow. kid shooting a gun. I mean, this dude does not fit the idea of who the right is blaming for this shooting. He just doesn't. Also, apparently one of the shell casings had the words "notices bulges, ooh ooh, what's this?" written on it. Another one had "Hey fascist, catch." Another one said, "Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao," which is like an anti-fascist slogan in Europe. And then another one said, "If you read this, you are gay, Lamau." But this kid apparently comes from like a military family background. His parents are Republicans. I don't know what to even say about that. I mean, good Lord, you know. He definitely does not fit the profile that they've been attempting to push during all of this. Some of these photos were taken from the mom's Facebook. Tyler Robinson came from a Mormon family in both law enforcement and the military. But I'm not so certain if he himself was right-wing. A lot of memes posted on the casings are ironic or of left variety, different than previous far-right shooters. People think this kid was a groiper. Interesting. Anyways, I just wanted to mention this event. It's nationwide. This whole story. I've seen people that I never thought would talk about politics saying shit about this. I've posted some stuff about it on Instagram and gotten some replies from people talking about it with me. I liked a post referencing it, and this dude that I knew in high school slides into my DMs and sends me the post being like, "Wow, you're sane, huh?" And all the post was right-wingers getting mad about other people making jokes about this situation. It was something about that and how they have a double standard of making fun of vulnerable trans kids, but getting mad when you make fun of a right-wing commentator that's being assassinated. That was the post I liked, and this dude slid up on my thing. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You're pocket watching my likes?" And I blocked him. I'm not talking to someone like that. That's insane. I'm being policed on what I can like on Instagram. And also, where am I even wrong on that? Where am I even wrong? You know how much horrific shit right-wingers say? Dude, for 5 years now, they've been making George Floyd jokes and I can't breathe jokes. Because they know that they're fortunate enough to not ever have to feel what it feels like to have a cop kneeling on your neck until you die. So, that's my piece. While the Charlie Kirk stuff was happening, a Colorado high school had a school shooting occur at it. Evergreen High School in Denver.
New details in the deadly Colorado shooting that sent several students to the hospital.
All fire departments respond on an active assailant.
A flurry of 911 calls poured in Wednesday just after noon from Evergreen High School.
Students down.
Students there in a panic, seen on this Ring camera video taken next door, running away, desperate for help.
I know these people. I was scared and I felt like sick because I was worried.
Police say the suspect, a male student, opened fire with a revolver handgun, shooting a pair of students in front of others. Both of them rushed to the hospital in critical condition, along with a third student with unknown injuries.
2 patients with CPR, need another ambulance to all of them.
This is the scariest thing you could ever think that could happen. They don't know if our suspect is old enough to even drive.
Hundreds of officers racing to the scene. Authorities say they found the suspect had suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the hospital hours later. Investigators now searching his home and locker looking.
Hopefully that's the only death from this whole thing, and not him needlessly killing innocent people. I mean, what do you even say? A guy that didn't believe that we had a gun violence problem in this country, didn't believe that we just had a gun problem in general in this country, was assassinated while talking about that. And while that was going on, another school shooting was happening at a high school. You know, I mean, that's America for you, you know? That's America for you. All right, let's move on to even worse shit. The Trump administration's been busy. My God, they've been busy. Let's start with the dumbest thing they've done. Donald Trump signed an executive order changing the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Here are staffers like humiliatingly scraping Department of Defense off the wall. And if you're wondering, yes, this does require an act of Congress to change the name officially. So officially speaking, it is still the Defense Department. Not that it matters. I mean, they're still going to call it the War Department anyways. It's just really funny to me how this is what the Trump administration has been busy with, is being like, I think we should change the Defense Department name. And so, like, the Secretary of Defense is now the Secretary of War. Yeah. Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of War now. Oh, yeah. Somebody photoshopped a Secretary of Booze thing on there. Oh, my God. I'm not saying that one. But yeah, so dumb, dude. Like, that's what we're concerning ourselves with. Although I am kind of glad. I am happy that this is the full efficiency of the Trump administration, that they can't do anything beyond changing the name of a department, that they are that useless and ineffective. I am kind of glad for that. The Trump administration also very horrifyingly killed an entire boat of people. There was a boat leaving Venezuela with about, I think, 11 people on it, 11 or 12 people on it. And the experts say that boat was not likely to be carrying drugs, as the Trump administration claimed. They blew up the boat because they thought it was a drug smuggling boat. However, a lot of experts say that it was less likely that it was, and was actually just carrying people on it, as like just a normal boat. A lot of drug smuggling boats don't have that many people on them. Here's the article. Yeah, experts skeptical of legality of Trump's strike on alleged drug boat. 11 alleged drug smugglers? Seriously? That's what we're gonna call them? The DOD on Friday abruptly canceled classified briefings that it was set to provide to the House and Senate. Yeah, they blew up this boat in international waters in the Caribbean. And they claimed that they were legitimate military targets, although we are not currently at war with Trinidad like they claim we are. So we can't just start bombing people in international waters. Yeah, even if it was a drug smuggling boat, that doesn't mean it was legal for us to do what we did. JD Vance wanted to weigh in one of the most careless uses of Twitter I've ever seen. Oh my God. Wow, okay. JD Vance tweeted out, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. And a journalist responded, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. JD Vance says, I don't give a shit what you call it. That's the Vice President of the United States saying, I don't give a shit if you call it a war crime or not. Or if you say that it's illegal. This is the best use of our military. Absolutely clown behavior. And unfortunately, Rand Paul made a statement about what JD Vance said, which is, upsetting since I hate Rand Paul. But he said, JD, I don't give a shit Vance says killing people he accuses of a crime is the highest and best use of the military. Did he ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? Did he ever wonder what might happen if the accused were immediately executed without trial or representation? What a despicable and thoughtless sentiment it is to glorify killing someone without a trial. Now, what they should have done is just seize the boat when it arrived on the American coastline, or tracked the boat until it got here. If they really suspected it of being a drug smuggling boat, not torpedoed it into pieces because they suspected it of being a drug trafficking boat. I saw one guy try to say like, oh, well, the ship could have been carrying illegal migrants on it. Okay, that doesn't justify blowing the boat up. What are we saying here? That doesn't mean you can just blow up the boat. Like, what the fuck? You can't just blow up the boat because you think there's illegal migrants on it, or you think there's drugs on there. What are we doing here, man? You can't just do that. God bless. Dude, like, insane points being made by people. Absolute. Those are psychopathic points. Sorry, I've been fighting that yawn for the last 3 minutes. My coffee's wearing off. The Trump administration came to Georgia, my home state, and they arrested and detained a bunch of South Koreans working in a Hyundai factory. They raided and arrested a bunch of South Koreans working in a Hyundai plant. The South Korean's president's chief of staff said it chartered a plane that would be sent to bring the detainees home after negotiations were done. More than 300 of them were South Korean nationals, who they said were found to be illegally working at the battery facility. Ay. They said it was a visa issue. Video released by ICE showed the workers shackled in front of a building, with some wearing yellow vests with names such as Hyundai and LG CNS on them. Wow. That's so ridiculous that that's how they conduct that. We're going to raid this Hyundai plant and just shackle everybody in front of it. Why? I think this is one of the most ridiculous displays of ICE. I feel like rounding them all up to deport all of them. These people have places they live here, they have families, all this stuff, and they're just gonna round them all up and ship them back to South Korea. I just think that's insane. I feel like different steps should have been taken for something like that. Donald Trump's administration is still controlling the DC police. Here are citizens protesting the DC takeover. Technically, the DC police takeover is legal, but it's still a disgusting display of power and sets a bad precedent for other cities that he might try to justify taking over the police in. Look at Palestinian flag. Let's go, people. Hell yeah. Love that. Here's another angle from a church that's ringing its bell in support of these protests. The reason why I said this sets a bad precedent for the potential of Trump trying to federalize other police departments across the country is because of stuff like this. Donald Trump posting, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." Tim Walz weighed in on that. Nothing more normal about the president declaring war on an American city. Or sorry, nothing normal about, sorry. Nothing more normal. What a fucking weird slip of the tongue. Yeah. God, okay. Continuing with what the Trump administration's been up to. And it came out that in 2019, the Trump administration, first time around, sent SEAL Team 6 into North Korea. And when they arrived in North Korea, they killed an entire boat full of fishermen. I'm going to let the New York Times video play because he goes into more detail about it.
I've been reporting about the military and special operations for more than a decade. And we received a tip about a mission that was so risky and frankly outlandish that I didn't even think it was real. The mission happened in 2019. At the time, President Trump and Kim Jong-un were in the middle of high-level nuclear talks. The mission was to plant a listening device. That device could give the US an edge in all of the negotiations, but it also came with substantial risks. The mission started with a nuclear submarine motoring into North Korean territorial waters. The nuclear sub stopped and released 2 mini-subs that headed into the bay. In those mini-subs is a team of Navy SEALs. The Navy SEALs thought they'd be coming into a deserted shore, but there was a surprise. Nearby was a small boat with a North Korean crew. The unseen North Korean boat came close to their mini-subs, and the crew on board started talking loudly and shining flashlights right down into the water where the subs were. If the subs were discovered, they'd have no way out, and so the SEALs that were at the shore fired on the North Korean boat and killed everybody that was on it. The SEALs on shore swam to the boat to make sure everybody was dead. When they got there, they didn't find any uniforms or weapons that suggested the people were security forces or military. In fact, everything there suggested that they were civilian fishermen who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Actually, I would argue it's not the fishermen that were in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was the U.S. military in a foreign country. Oh my God, I hate it when the New York Times does this. When they still run defense for regardless of who's in office. They still run defense for the U.S. Just admit it. We shouldn't have been in North Korea. Why did we need to sneak into North Korea to get an edge up on negotiations? Why? Those fishermen are in their own country, fishing, in their own waters, on their boat, unarmed. Why are we saying that they were in the wrong place at the wrong time? When the Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6, are on foreign land with their submarine in foreign waters. Why are we saying this? Why? That's ridiculous. Why is that the way that we frame it?
The SEALs got out of the area unscathed, but it's hard to overstate the gravity of what happened. The United States put troops on the ground in an unpredictable dictatorship with nuclear weapons, killed civilians, and took extreme strategic risks. This was just one mission, but people within the special operations world say it's part of a broader problem that has plagued special operations for decades. There's never any real...
What, that we shouldn't be sending covert spy tactical groups into foreign countries and meddling with their affairs?
Outside scrutiny that lets the public and the nation as a whole look at what went wrong. Everything remains top secret.
What went wrong is doing it in the first place. That's the thing. What went wrong is doing all of that shit in the first place. Maybe don't send your fucking troops into a foreign country where they can just completely wreck house. Maybe don't do that. That's so ridiculous to me, man. Oh. I forgot I have a JavaScript blocked on here. Dude, that's the craziest bit. Is the whole like, oh, well, what they do in those countries is top secret, so we can't scrutinize their actions. No, the fact that the operations took place should be enough to scrutinize it. You need to ask your government, why are we going into these countries and sending special op teams into these countries for no reason? Why are we doing that? That should be the question you should be asking the government. So yeah, big, huge... God, what am I choking on? God. I don't know what I'm choking on. My lungs, man. That just came out of nowhere. Anyway, big issue, big oops. I don't know. I don't really know why this isn't a bigger story, that we put troops on the ground in North Korea, killed a boat full of civilians, and like that's all we know now. Also, we can get negotiating power. Like, that's it. That's what we risked our foreign relations with North Korea over. Was that. The last Trump thing. The last thing. Jeffrey Epstein. We're hitting all the points this week. We're hitting all of them. Hitting all the points this week. Foreign relations disasters, domestic bullshit, and now we have Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee released some interesting documents from the Epstein birthday book. So back in 2003, Ghislaine Maxwell rounded up all of Epstein's close associates and friends and asked them to write Epstein a note for his 50th birthday. And this is what Donald Trump allegedly put in the book, was a drawing of a woman's body. A woman's body with his signature being her pubes. And they talk about enigmas never aging and wonderful secrets. This was written about in the Washington, or not in the Washington, in the Wall Street Journal. But here's the actual drawing from the book. We didn't have this before. We had artist renditions of what it might be, but this is the actual drawing. And a lot of people have said that this looks a lot like he meant to draw a little girl. And I can definitely see that. I don't. Sorry, I'm pulling up my camera settings. I can definitely see that being the case. Sorry, my white balance is all over the place on this camera, man. Look, it's like a switch being flipped. All right, there. Perfect white balance. Stay at that. Please, camera. This isn't the only thing they released. They released the entire book. They released the check photo where, it seems that Donald Trump is selling a woman to Jeffrey Epstein or something like that, calling her fully depreciated. Kind of gross little joke there. But I want to go through the book, and I want to go through the parts that I found the most interesting. So you can go to the House Oversight release on this. Here. Oversight.house.gov. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, dang. They post stuff a lot. When did they post all of this shit? September 8th? Oh, God. I'm going to have to scroll a lot. Whatever. Go to the Oversight House Committee website, and they have a Google Drive link to the Epstein book. So, here's the front cover. The first 50 years, one. And I think there's, multiple volumes. But this was released by the House Oversight Committee. You can see, a list of names. Bill Clinton shows up right here. Donald Trump is right there. So, you can go on here. You can go through all the pages. I want to go through the ones that I found to be the most interesting. The first one I wanted to point out was the letter from Alan Dershowitz, where Alan Dershowitz wrote on December 11th, 2002, "Dear Jeffrey, as a birthday gift to you, I managed to obtain an early version of the Vanity Unfair article. I talked them into changing the focus from you to Bill Clinton, as you will see from the enclosed excerpt. Happy birthday and best regards." And here's some stupid edit where it's who was Jack the Ripper? Was it Jeffrey Epstein? Al-Qaeda in South America, financed by Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein stole my heart. Bring it on, Jeffrey. Consume me, Jeffrey. Intoxicate me, Jeffrey. Nicole Kidman. That's the joke, is he put Jeffrey Epstein's name all over the magazine. Another page I wanted to point out was page 154. Oh shit. What did I just do? Alright. Page 154, where there's just these clip art. Also, right before this is a bunch of pictures of animals fucking, so be warned. Just a bunch of clip art stuff. Dear Jeffrey, happy 50th. Joel. Here's another one. 1983, 2003, what a great country. It's just a bunch of topless women massaging him, pretty much. Oh, and here's the check photo. Yeah, this is just really weird. And it's look like they have Jeffrey Epstein tattooed on their ass. You know what? I just realized that this kind of points towards a grooming theme. Hope you're enjoying the episode. If you want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. You can subscribe for $10 a month to get bonus content. Or you can subscribe for $1 or $3 a month if you just want to support us. There's also higher tiers if you want to support us even more, even harder. But you don't have to. So head on over to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. And for $10 a month, you can get the bonus episodes and even bonus content like the outtakes for this little segment. So thanks for supporting us, and thanks for listening. This one is just something funny I wanted to show. It's just Comic Sans hell. Jeffrey. I met Jeffrey as a client, although very quickly, even though we were working together, we became friends. So I consider him first a friend. Of course, becoming friends was inevitable because for the first time, I met someone crazier than me. He can maybe be a bear, but mostly a teddy bear. He is the most adorable and coolest friend that anyone can have. Collecting homes is his hobby. When I first met him, he did not want any construction. He could not stand to look at fabric with printed patterns. He detested Chinese curio, and today he begs for all of these. The last time I saw him, we met to review a plan. During our meeting, he made many constructive comments, and when we left, I said to my colleague, "You know, he was right." He learns so quickly that soon he will be outthinking me. For this occasion, I give him all my tenderness and my most sincere and deepest friendship, even though sometimes he can be a royal pain in the ass. And yet, this is what it looks like when it goes to the different volumes. Let's see, 165 is where the letter is that Trump wrote him, and then I had one weird page I wanted to show you. This one just weirded me out. So there's like a letter in here from someone, some redacted pages. Like here's a letter where a dude drew something that's, I guess, supposed to be boobs. I'm not really sure. And then you go down a little bit, a redacted photo, another letter, and then just a faceless photo of George Bush. Why is there a faceless photo of George Bush in here? Then another faceless photo of someone. I'm not really sure what this was supposed to be about. And then it just moves on. Who's this letter from? International funny man of history revealed as alien in disguise. Strange beings from... What is this? Ex-president taken in? What the fuck? That's weird. Anyway, go check it out. There's a Google Drive link on the Oversight Committee's website. You should also go check out this VH1 segment that aged like milk.
Jeff.
Should go check that out too. They literally say on there he cannot keep himself out of the classroom. How awful is that, man? So big week for the president. Huge week. You know, one of the top political commentary supporters of his is assassinated. A classified mission that he sent SEAL Team 6 on is released by the New York Times. He extrajudicially and possibly even illegally kills a boat full of civilians. His vice president says, "I don't give a fuck about war crimes" on Twitter. And then his ICE raids detain 300 South Korean Hyundai workers, and he's being protested on the takeover of the DC police. Not looking good for the president, folks. Not looking good. Here's some updates on the New York City Mayoral Race. I've been giving occasional updates on this, and I'm sure my mentions of this will go up a little bit as we get closer to the election. Eric Adams has been getting criticized by Cuomo a little bit more, and Cuomo said something about Eric Adams dropping out of the race, and so I wanted to play this clip.
And to New Yorkers, I want to speak directly to you. There has been so much speculation, communications, announcements of what I'm doing, no matter what I have stated over and over again publicly. So I want to be clear with you. Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar.
Oh my gosh. He should be New York City's ambassador to Turkey. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah,
Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar. I am in this race, and I'm the only one that can beat Mandani. Andrew has had a career pushing black candidates out of races. You heard me say it over again. Carl McCall, Charlie King,
whoa.
David Patterson. This is his career that must stop with me.
Damn. Also, I love that they're all running on the beating Mamdani like pact. That's what they're all running on. They're all saying, "Oh no, I can beat Mamdani. No, I can," and it's apparently none of them can. Let's see. Mamdani posted. Zoran Mamdani posted a very serious thing about hit and run accidents.
We're standing
at a certain
here
intersection.
at the exact intersection where in 2021 Matt Jensen was killed.
He would just like help me with my math homework, and he just really brightened everyone's day.
He was walking in the crosswalk, slammed down by a Rolls Royce going 55 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour speed limit.
See, and that's the thing, man. He's actually taken this race seriously. Here's a picture that he took at the Fight Oligarchy Town Hall with Bernie Sanders. So what, he's actually taken this race seriously, and then Cuomo and Eric Adams are over here like, no, I can beat Mamdani. No, I can. And then Eric Adams pulls out the "you hate black people" line, which is insane. Curtis Sliwa, I don't know how you say his name, the Republican candidate in the mayoral race. He calls for feral cat colonies to claw back at New York City rat problem. Quote, "Caped Crusaders at night." Folks, this is what the Republican candidate is up to while the two Democrat candidates fight, and the actual Democrat candidate leads the entire race. Man. What was Cuomo up to? Oh, here's what Cuomo's been up to. Keep in mind, this did not affect the polling numbers even a little bit. Not even a little bit. He did this rally, nobody filmed it. This barely touched his polling numbers. Really working hard there, Andrew Cuomo. Really working hard. ABC 7 News poll. I want to see what the polling numbers are at. %45% in a Quinnipiac poll, and Emerson College, he's sitting at 43%. That is insane. That's where Mamdani's sitting right now. Wow. Love that. To briefly touch on it, because I don't know a lot about French politics, the French government collapsed. The French parliament voted a vote of no confidence on the prime minister, Francois Bayrou. Oui, oui. after only 9 months. And that apparently President Macron can appoint a new prime minister. That was bad. He can appoint a new prime minister. It's kind of a weird system. Yeah, there's like a slight left-wing liberal majority in the parliament, and the prime minister's been kind of ignoring them this whole time, so that's why they voted the way that they did. So, you know, I don't know, I guess I'll update on that. I just thought it was funny that the French government is just on its own shit while we're all dealing with stuff over here. The last thing that I'll mention, a few weeks ago I did an episode where I talked about the Cracker Barrel thing, and I was just like, the logo kind of sucks, and it's whatever. But apparently a lot of conservatives were absolutely enraged by the new logo change. Absolutely enraged. You know, this is their new shit logo. And apparently, they aren't using this logo anymore. They went right back to the old one. The one that they call the Old Timers logo. So yeah, this logo that some millennial at a graphics design, that took a graphics design class, created in like 5 minutes. Out the door, baby. Out the fucking door. And they also said that they're not going to go through with their remodeling plans. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention this is because I thought, oh, you know, they were probably getting ready to remodel like the whole company, and they had already remodeled a ton of stores, but they hadn't done it to the one near me yet. And I thought, okay, well then maybe it's only a matter of time. They had only remodeled 4 of the stores. So people having photos of the remodels are all coming from the same 4 stores. It hadn't even become widespread yet. And people were already flipping their lid. How insane is that? I had no idea. I thought it was like a third of the stores at this point. There's over 600 Cracker Barrels. They had only remodeled 4 of them. So, definitely blown way out of proportion. Alright, folks, I got to insert this before the outro because I forgot to mention it. I've been watching Dexter. I'm going to be reviewing Dexter Resurrection next week. And I wanted to mention that I bought today 7 out of the 8 Dexter books. Look at that. I do not have a Dexter Final Cut because they didn't have it there, but they had 7 out of the 8 Dexter books at that bookstore, and I cleared them out. I'm very happy that I got these books. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it. Fun little thing about me that I wanted to mention, because I never talk about myself anymore in these episodes. So, yeah, thanks. All right, folks. I was going to put a fun fact in here. I don't have one. I couldn't think of one before recording this, so instead I will just simply leave you with a fun, nice TikTok that I think sounds really nice. Okay, chill out. I think this sounds really nice. I think this is a good note to end on. So, you know, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. Please support me. I don't want to keep doing this for free, folks. I just released a new bonus episode last week about a topic that I don't like talking about publicly, so go check that out. And, you know, subscribe to us on YouTube. Go listen to this on other platforms if you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast. We are on the Samsung Fridge and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So go hop on over there if you want to listen over there. Or if you're subscribed to Patreon, you can add the Patreon feed to your Spotify as a private RSS feed. So go check that out. And with that, I leave you with this nice video by Katz Pascal.